Welcome back to Sporting with Smitty. I'm your host Smitty, and welcome to the first Celtics report on the channel. And let me tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited for this team. I'm excited for what potential we have right now. Excuse me. So let's go into it. All right, the Celtics right now are 23-6. Outstanding record to start. They're showing a lot of great chemistry on the court. It's been completely changed with the additions of Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. It has completely changed. Everybody has their own day where they've been. It's not like it's constantly Tatum going off. It's everybody. We've had Porzingis go off in multiple games. We've had Jason Tatum go off in a game, which ended up in a loss, unfortunately, which is his season high of 45. And then we had Jaylen Brown go off where he had, I think, like 6 threes in the first half against Washington. So it's a very exciting year for the Celtics. They've improved greatly in almost every category. So let's get into it, starting with the home and away record. They are 14-0 at home. They're off to one of the best starts in franchise history at home at this point. Unfortunately, away, they're a little bit over 500. They won their last 3 games of that road trip out west, which is a success, especially after that disheartening loss to the Warriors. So they're 9-6 away. It's not bad, but it could be better, obviously. Jason Tatum, he's not scoring as much as usual, but that's just because the offense that they're playing, they're spreading the ball out. Everybody's getting a chance with the ball. So I'm not surprised that happens. When you're playing with such a team effort and not focusing on these two guys, their average is going to go down, or that's just how it is. So the leading rebounder, obviously, is Jason Tatum, surprisingly. Even though I will give Porzingis his credit, he has been pretty good on the boards. Not as good as in his past, but hey, I'll take it anyway. Yeah, Jason Tatum is averaging 8.5 rebounds a game. Very good player. Hopefully in the running for the MVP conversation. Just needs to get that scoring up, unfortunately. But the assist leader, believe it or not, it's Derek White. Derek White his game has leaped to another level this year. He has gotten better on the defensive side of the basketball, and he's been incredible shooting. His shooting has gone through the roof this year. Derek White is averaging 5.2 assists a game, which is a team high, obviously. The steals leader, again, Derek White. He's been outstanding on defense. He's gotten so much better. He's playing with a very high intensity, and it's really fun. It's really cool to see. He's averaging 1.2 steals a game, amongst the leaders in the NBA right now. Blocks, of course, Kristaps Porzingis. He's been great himself. He has improved his defense. His stats have gone down, but again, that's because he's not the top guy or the second guy like he was in Washington or Dallas. And plus, he's healthy. Yeah, I know he's missed a few games because of a sprained ankle or whatever. He's still consistently healthy this year. He's leading the team in blocks 1.8. With Derek White, but not so far behind him, he's at 1.3 blocks a game. One of the best defensive guards in basketball right now, and it's a damn shame that I don't think he'll ever make an all-star game. I really don't. Unless he gets his scoring up to like 30 points, which it's never going to happen, unfortunately, because just the way we play, and he's just not that number one option scoring the basketball. So, I mean, I'm still happy with the success this team has made. Derek White has improved. He averaged 12.4 points a game last year, with 3.6 rebounds a game last year, and 3.9 assists, and 0.7 steals and 0.9 blocks a game. Going into this year, he's averaging 16.6 points a game, 3.9 rebounds, a little up, and an outstanding 5.2 assists a game. So he's become a very reliable passer, and he can run in the offense and make plays. He's even averaged 2 steals per game, which is obviously stunning itself, which it just shows how great his defense is. And again, it just annoys me. It pisses me off because everybody looks at points per game, yada, 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 that he'll never make the All-Star game. He'll never make the All-Star game. It's just unfortunate because he's just made leaps and he's had leaps and bounds this year from last year and the year before. So, and he's also averaging a career high, I believe, in 1.3 blocks a game. Like I said earlier, obviously one of the best blocking guard in the game right now. And looking at the closer statistics that we have, it's gone up. Everything has gotten better this year and that's even after we supposedly traded the best defensive backcourt guy in Marcus Smart. Traded him away. We traded another solid defensive guy in Grant Williams, which we can see now that Dallas is proving that wrong because he's not been very good this year at times, and obviously Malcolm Brogdon as well. But he's going off in Portland only due to the fact that really Portland doesn't have anybody. He's the veteran guy right now, so he's obviously going to go off and make big plays. That's just the type of player he is, and I'm happy to see him successful in that Portland team that's unfortunately really struggling right now. Rob Williams, obviously, come to the shock that Rob Williams was traded along with Malcolm to Portland in the Drew Holiday deal, and unfortunately, Rob got hurt again. He will be out for the season, sadly. It's just a shame he can't stay healthy. He's one of the best defensive centers in basketball. I mean, he was blocking shots when he was healthy. He was getting some big rebounds. I mean, it's just a shame. Injuries suck, people. But let's go into it last year again. Last year, 2023 season, the Celtics were putting up 117.9 points a game and giving up 111.4 points a game. Their offensive rating was at 118.0. Their defensive rating was 111.5. Now take that into consideration and look at it now, which is the points per game was at 120.1. The opponent's points per game has been 109.9. And the offensive rating and defensive rating are the same as the points per. So, I mean, just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. They're playing so well together, and it's just it was immediate chemistry. Going into the third quarter of the season opener, they struggled a bit, obviously, because, I guess they were still finding their chemistry, but they figured it out in the fourth quarter. They tightened up, and they were able to get the comeback win. Obviously, Porzingis was outstanding in that game, 30 points, which has never happened in NBA history, where a guy in his team's debut puts up 30 points a game. So Porzingis already making history with the Boston Celtics. He's had an amazing season where he's been 20 and 10 consistently. Any other acquisitions that, besides Drew Holiday, who's also been a great guard for us, he's been able to be very, very good on the boards, believe it or not. He's been able to get rebounds and really be able to push the ball down the court. He's been making great plays, making great passes. His court vision is unreal. And I'm very happy with this trade. I know we lost Rob. I know we lost Malcolm. But Malcolm, he might have been our starting guard, but he wouldn't have been going off right now the way he's going off in Portland, because he has 3 guys ahead of him that are better scorers. Honestly, maybe 4 guys ahead of him with the way Derek White's been playing. So, and Rob, obviously, his injury problem has been, it's just sad. He had so much potential. But O'Shea Brissett, he doesn't get a lot of minutes, but when he does, he is just a big energy guy. He brings energy to the team whenever he comes on the court. He's able to get some big dunks to where, like, those booming dunks that can really get the crowd going. So he brings energy. He brings energy to the team whenever he steps onto the court, whether he's on the court with a couple of bench players or when he's on the court with mostly starters. So, and honestly, this is probably my signing of the year for the Celtics. It's a 2-way deal, and it's Neemias Queta. I've been completely shocked with the way he's been playing. I did not know he had this in him. He's averaging more minutes per game, But I'm looking at his stats, and I'm just seeing 5.3 points per game, 6.0 rebounds a game for this guy. It's incredible. It's incredible, and I hope that, yes, it's a two-way deal, and I'm hoping they sign him for the rest of the season, because he could be a big part, especially, God forbid, if Porzingis goes out for a legitimate amount of time. Because as much as we fans, Celtic fans, like Luke Cornett, he's not the guy that can come off the bench for you and kind of hold it down. He's more of a, okay, we're up by 20, and he can come in and hold it down. But Neemias Queta, he's been making big plays. That Golden State game, he was making big plays. The LA Clippers game, I think he had a double-double off the bench. It just shows how, I mean, he's stepping in for when Al Horford takes those nights off, which he deserves. He's at that age to where he needs time to recover after a long game. And that Golden State game, overtime, long game, long minutes, it was a perfect opportunity for Neemias Queta to come in and make a play, and make big plays, and really be that guy down below. And he was, Al Horford didn't take a night off in the LA game. It was Porzingis that wasn't there, I believe, off the top of my head. So, but either way, he's been able to come in and really show all he has on the court. And I'm very excited for it. And looking at the schedule that we have ahead, so tonight we have the god-awful Detroit Pistons, and that should be a win. You can, and even though I am nervous, and the only reason why I'm nervous is that Detroit has, the last few years, no matter how bad they've been, and they've been bad, they've been always able to pull out a victory against Boston. They've always been able to just play us hard, and unfortunately a lot of the guys, we struggle getting, kind of pulling away from that team. They've always kind of just given us problems. But obviously that was under Dwayne Casey, so different coaching style. Now we're taking on Monty Williams, and this team just, man, the Pistons are really struggling, and looking at their schedule ahead, they're going to be, they might lose, their streak could hit 40 games if they're not careful, which is insane to me. A 2-41 record is unheard of for a professional basketball team. It's unheard of. Going over 2 months without a win? Unheard of. And going also down the schedule, going back to the Celtics, obviously, they're in a game at home hosting the Toronto Raptors. That should be a win, obviously. Then we go back on the road, take on the San Antonio Spurs, who are struggling as well. They are really, really bad. Very, very bad. And unfortunately, you can see that within the San Antonio Spurs, it's like the guys around Wemby are, they're not realizing that Wemby should be the guy that should be scoring and do the bulk of the scoring. He is the guy now. He is that guy. So guys like Keldon Johnson, I think it's Ty Jones, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Vassell, and Zach Collins, they need to realize that, hey, Wemby is our star. We need to get him the ball, and he needs him do his thing to get us to victory. That's it. But unfortunately, they're not doing that yet. So obviously, I think the Celtics are going to curb stomp the Spurs, because they're just not good. Now, next couple games after that, it could be a struggle. Going out on the road to Oklahoma City, we all know what happened last year, where we did not show up to play, and I think we gave up 151 points to that team. We got spanked on their court. So obviously a team we need to be looking out for, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, another great season for him. He's really fun to watch, and at times he is just unstoppable. That's all there is. He's just unstoppable. And now with Chet back, Chet Holmgren, he could also be a problem for us too, because he's really an all-around center. He can score, he can rebound, he can play great defense. I think he's top of the league amongst everybody in blocks. Then we host the Utah Jazz at home. I think we can beat them because they're really struggling with consistency. And then it's back-to-back road games against Indiana. And obviously the last time we were in Indiana, it was not pretty. It was for the play-in tournament. And they really put it on us, unfortunately. They were hitting big shots in big moments. And you could just see we weren't ready to play. Then we were hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, another good game with, honestly, the biggest surprise team in the NBA this year. I mean, Ant-Man has been Anthony Edwards. He's been taking his game to the next level where he is looking unstoppable at times. Karl Anthony Towns is having a great year, and they just have a lot of great defensive players on that team as well that can really feed on that, have great matchups with any real team, honestly. Next, it's honestly the biggest game of the year to date by that time, and it's on the road in Milwaukee. Now, I know we've had great success against Milwaukee over the last few years. We're honestly not afraid to go into Milwaukee and spank them. We did it last year where I think at one point we were up by 40. And then the year before where Tatum put up 46, I think a Celtic record, where he fell a few points short of the Celtic record. He's second on that list of most points in a playoff game. I mean, we have so much potential to really finally do it. Finally end the playoff demons. Finally get that title. Get Banner 18 up in the TD Garden. They just got to perform. And they have to step up their game again. Yeah, they've stepped it up so far, but they need to further step it up. They can't be blowing leads, because in the three of these losses, they've blown leads. In Golden State, they were up by 17. In the Orlando Magic game, they were up by almost 20. And then let the Magic go on like a 17-0 run to get back into it, and it was off to the races for them. The Charlotte game that we lost in overtime, Tatum had 45 that game. We were up well over 10 points in the fourth quarter. So this team needs to really step it up. Same thing with the Minnesota game, believe it or not. The Minnesota game that we lost in overtime, we consistently had leads throughout that game. And then we let it get into overtime, and Ant-Man went off. I think he had 8 points in the overtime period. He was killing us. You can't let these teams get back into games, even the worst, because it's like they're not capable. And then when they get into these situations where they're struggling to score, where the team is coming back that they're playing against, and they go back to that hero ball bullshit, such as Tatum, dribble, 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 get the clock down to 10. He's driving, and he's trying to take just a ridiculous contested shot. And the same thing with Jaylen Brown, where he dribble, dribble, dribble. Oh, clock's at 10. Let's drive. Problem is, he's really doesn't have that many great handles right now, and he loses the ball in a turnover. And then the other team is off to the races. So there's still things that we need to improve on to continue getting better. Period. That's the only way we can come back and finally win one. And this team can finally get the respect. Because anytime I hear about the Celtics right now in the media, it's whenever they lose or whenever they do beat a team like the Lakers, and all we hear about, oh, this is a Lakers problem. Lakers this, Lakers that. That's really all it is. Or we hear about their playoff failures of the past where they've blown it. They need to change the narrative now. They need to change the narrative. It's time. It's time we end this frustrating period where we've been just handing away series. Like last year against the Heat in Game 7, Tatum went down with an injury, And then it was basically the Jaylen Brown show playing hero ball the rest of the day. And he struggled. I think he had 8 turnovers in that game. And it just fell apart. Obviously, the game plan was around Jason Tatum. I don't know. I don't remember if Joe Mazzulla called a timeout. But he should, at that time, if he did, he should have talked the players down and been like, okay, guys, we need to scrap this game plan. Here's the new game plan. Let's try it. That's all it is. And the year before that, when we lost in the finals to Golden State, and whenever anybody talks about, oh, Golden State won that series, no. No, they didn't. We handed it to them. With the amount of turnovers we had and just mental mistakes, we handed them that series on a silver platter in the last 2 games, or 3 games. The Game 4 fourth quarter was a disgrace. We fell apart. Turnovers, bad shots. Game 6, or Game 5, same situation. Up, and then falling apart in the fourth quarter. Turnovers, bad shots, bad plays. So, it's just so irritating. I always said this team does things the hard way, and they really do. They really do. So, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know what really is the ceiling. What do you want to see at the trade deadline, for example? What do you want to see? What signings you want them to make? If there's any guys that are coming out in the at that time when they start just releasing people, getting contracts off the books. What decisions or what players do you have in mind that the Celtics should pick up? Recently, looking through Celtics Facebook and Celtics Twitter, we've seen a lot of fans talk about, oh, is there a possible reunion with Kelly Olynyk? I wouldn't mind that, honestly. He can further spread the floor out when you have, say, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and then you've got Kelly Olynyk. Or take Drew out, Derek White, Tatum, Brown, Kristaps at the 5, and Kelly Olynyk at the 4. I mean, we're spreading the ball out, and really, if we're going and we're on fire at that moment, no team is going to stop that. No team is going to stop it. So, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate the views. I appreciate you guys checking the channel out. Obviously, there are more content that I need to create. So, let me know what you guys think. Go Celtics. See you next time.